Hey, good afternoon. It's our Wow Wednesday day. Thanks for bearing with me today, all these virtual days. I'm sure you can relate as the world is. We just have to deal, right? We just have to deal with how it goes, but I'm thankful that my kids are still able to be in school. So I will say that. And that they still love school. So if you're just hopping on, say hi, give me a like, give me a wave, let me know that you're excited to be here. I'm super excited to always come every week and share some things that I have learned in my health and fitness journey, and just to share with you to hopefully help you also in your health and fitness journey. So I'm glad that you are joining me here on our Wow Wednesday. Normally I do these trainings around 11:30 Central Time. If there is a better time for you guys, I know we're all over the country, and you can always go back and watch the replay. Which, side note, if you are watching it right now, just comment live, or if you're watching the replay, just comment replay so that I know. And also, I will be able to see your comments. If you have anything to say in the comments, let me know you're excited. Drop me some emojis. That would be awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and just get into today, our topic of today. And last week we talked about how we struggle with the quick fixes and where that mindset came from, or where it might come from. And so I want to expand on that a little bit today and talk about what are your non-negotiables of life, or what are your priorities of life. And this is something that I think is a necessity to figuring out how we can balance life so that nothing gets dropped as much. I have a story about that today. And just how we can really learn to balance our self-care as well as everything else that is put in our plate, right? So I'm really excited to talk about this today. If you're someone who struggles with knowing where your priorities or your non-negotiables lie, or where they are, or where they should be, or maybe you're just having a hard time with motivation, like maybe you know where your priorities are or they should be and you're just having a hard time getting going, then this training will be for you today. So just make sure I can hear you, or you can hear me, sorry. Can you guys hear me pretty good? Hey, I see Tina's here. Oh, there's two Tinas here. Yes, my sister-in-law Tina, and I see Tina Gastello. Say hi, let me know that you're excited to be here. Hey, Kat. Yay! So, yeah, make sure that you hop on these trainings if you can live, because I can also answer your questions while you're here. It's a lot easier for me to do, obviously, live. So, I'm super excited that you guys are here with me. Okay, so we're going to start talking about what are our priorities or non-negotiables of life. How do we figure this out? And so again, I just want to welcome you all. This group is for moms of faith, and we have a desire to get healthier in spirit, soul, and body, so that we can live the life that we are designed to live, that God has designed us for, and He desires to give us a life that's thriving and not just surviving. There will definitely be moments I feel like we do feel like we're surviving, but it shouldn't be the norm. It shouldn't be that way. And in that, God can really help us thrive even still. So again, just give me a little wave, a little comment, a little thumbs up, so that you are, so that I know that you're here. Sorry, I'm a little sidetracked today. I want to make sure that these trainings are of value to you. I work with people on a one-on-one basis as a coach, as a health coach, but I offer this free resource, this free training for anyone who's looking to get healthier. And so I really want to provide you guys value. So if you feel like you're getting value out of these trainings, please let me know. Be here for the trainings or watch them later, and just let me know if they are valuable to you, or even post in the group what things you're struggling with, because a lot of the time I'm listening, I'm seeing what you guys are doing, or what you're asking for, and I can do trainings around that. So, all right, so I want to be here to help you guys move forward in your journey wherever you are at. So I want to tell you guys a little story, actually a couple little stories. So speaking of self-care, the last couple of days have kind of been a struggle for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm a mom, I am an entrepreneur right now. My kids are home sometimes. My husband is home working. And so there's a lot to balance right now. I'm sure we can all relate to that. And so, the last couple of days have just been a little frustrating. We found out today that, 5:45 this morning, that is going to be a virtual day. And while I love my kids and I want them to thrive and I want to be there for them, it just throws your day off, right? It's something that we have to plan for, we have to change things around, and so it just can be frustrating, right? As a parent, especially, it's not that you don't love your kids. You obviously love your kids. That's why you do everything for them. But there's that self-sacrifice that happens, right? So the things that I want to do or that I need to do sometimes get put on the bottom, right? They don't necessarily happen. And I'll definitely say that during this last year and a half, I don't know how long it is now, of being home all the time, I quit my gym job because I just decided, it was just one of those things like, I really don't feel like I'm supposed to be here anyways, and God just kind of moved me out of that and moved me into online coaching. And I have loved the journey. It's definitely a journey though, as all parts of life are. And so there are days that are more frustrating than others and things that need to get done. And so, yesterday was just kind of a hard day for me. Some things fell through and, things just haven't been happening at the pace that I would like them to happen. Kind of like going back to the quick fix thing, like when you're trying to lose weight, things just don't happen necessarily as fast as you want them to. But if you stay consistent, if you move through those things will happen. They will. And I have truly believed that. But, just trying to manage my priorities the last few days has been really hard because my kids have brought home. And, I'm sure you guys can relate to the fact that, like, sometimes when you need to work, and your kids need to do school, jumping onto a Zoom for 2 different kids at 3 different times, it can be a huge struggle to even get anything done, or just figure out, okay, I just have to do the next thing. I just have to do the next important thing. And so, I struggle with a little bit of guilt in the fact that maybe I'm not helping my kids out as much as I could be in that, arena. And so I've been struggling with that a little bit the past couple of days. So I'm sure you guys can relate. If you relate to that, put relate in the comments and let me know. But it's just hard sometimes, right, to really balance all the things, all the priorities that we know that we should be doing. And so that's what I want to talk about. So if you're someone who struggles with taking time for yourself, because in all of the plethora of balancing kids and hubby and yourself, you're sometimes the person that gets left out, right? And I will say that I honestly, if we're thinking about health and fitness, I've actually, worked myself into a better pattern of life in that, I just do workouts in the basement. Now, do they get done every day? No, not necessarily. But I've actually lost weight over COVID because I've been more consistent in my nutrition and more consistent in my exercise because I purposed to do that. And I committed to doing that, even if it's not something that happens every day. And so I want to talk about that again. And so again, if you can relate, put self-care in the comments and let me know, is this your struggle too? Not even necessarily from a health and fitness perspective, but just from balancing plates, right? Because self-care should be one of those things that's on there. And I want to talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. But I remember when I first became a mom and first realized the impact that it was to be a mom, but also the self-sacrifice that it would mean to not always get to do the things that I wanted to do, like sleep. Who needs sleep? That struggle alone, I would get to the end of the day, and my kids were really little, and I've done this for years. Like, I would always, not every night, but I'd always have some sort of little treat, maybe chocolate, maybe ice cream, some sort of thing that was my thing. And that, I kind of rewarded myself because I had a hard day. I deserved this. And I would sit down at the end of the day, and that would be what I would reward myself with when it came to my self-sacrifice struggle in being a mom. And, if you can relate to this, just put relate in the comments, let me know, like, do you have that one little thing that you like to do When after you've had a long day with your kids and you're working and all of the things, like, you just want some time to yourself. You just want to do something for yourself. And you want what you want, and you're like, here's my time. And, maybe you fill it with a treat, maybe you fill it with reading, whatever your preferences are. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to our health and fitness. And I struggled with, and I do this occasionally now. Not a whole lot though, because if I want to stay on track, I don't eat too late, or I don't have snacks too much in the evenings. But my point is just that there was that time that I had set aside for myself, albeit it wasn't necessarily probably the healthiest thing to do. I wouldn't, recommend that, and that's why sometimes we need to think about, why are we using food as comfort when really what it is we need to take time for ourselves, maybe in a different manner. And so again, if this is you, like, you can relate, and you have that struggle of realizing the self-sacrifice that you're making in your life as being a mom. And while it is great, you love your kids, like, there's just that moment in your day where you're like, I want space for myself. That's what I'm talking about. That is a normal thing to struggle with, and actually it is something that we need to put as a priority. We shouldn't necessarily put that as the last thing on the list, although it happens some days, right? And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that desire to need some space for yourself is a good thing, and it's necessary. It's just, how do we fill that space, and what do we fill that space with, or how do we do that? So that's what I want to really talk about, is that's a normal thing to have and need. And I actually think that, God really designed us to be purposeful in taking time for ourselves. I think there are obviously more constructive things to do for self-care than eat ice cream every night. But, again, if that's something that you struggle with, that can be an emotional thing, it can be a stressful thing, that's how you just cope. And again, God doesn't want us to just cope. He wants us to thrive in life. And again, while food isn't bad inherently in itself, if it's filling a void in a way that it's not designed for, then that's the problem. That's where we need to figure out what that struggle is, and we need to fix that struggle. So, all of that to say, I really want to dive into the Word a little bit more about this idea and this struggle. But again, if this is you have this struggle, you get to the end of the day and you realize, I just want space to myself. I love all those videos out there. I love watching Christina Kuzmic. Sorry if I said her name wrong. So you might have seen me post some of her videos. Like, she just has this, she's hilarious. Like, in the fact that momhood is rough, and you just want to hide in the closet and eat chocolate. Like, you just want space to yourself. And I don't believe there's anything wrong with that. And again, we just have to work around life and balance our self-care so that we are getting some of that space for ourselves. And I truly believe that we are designed, even as a male, I think it's just something that's harder for us women to do for ourselves. We get to the point where we just explode because we just haven't set that aside for ourselves. So if that's you, put self-care in the comments and let me know if you're struggling with this. So last week I talked a little bit in the fact that where the quick fix mindsets come from, and I talked about the passage in Joshua. There's these, the Lord had promised to give the Israelites the promised land. And so now they were entering the promised land. The first battle was the Battle of Jericho, where the Lord had basically just given them some basic instructions. Walk around the city once every day, and then 7 times on the last day, and blow the horns, and the walls will fall down, and you can take the land. And so I've been looking at the way that in Joshua there were different parts of their promised land, and they were fought so differently in different ways. Like, each battle was different, and I've been stuck kind of in this in Joshua, because I really want to, for me, I see this as a real life thing, in that as a believer, as a mom of faith, God has a promised land for me too. And he has a promised land for you too. And it's just the fact that there are going to be different ways that we fight different battles for different areas of our life. Because as we know, as a believer, when we get the Holy Spirit, he gives us access to, things that will blow our mind because it's coming from his strength and not our own. And he wants to give us his promised land, which are all these things. And I don't even think while we're here on earth we'll even know what they all are. But right now we have an opportunity to use the gifts and talents that he's given us and to build our faith and to see the purpose that he has for us just in being a mom. Even if you don't work, if you're a stay-at-home mom, like, there is a huge purpose in that. And that's something I had to work through when I was a stay-at-home mom full-time. And, when life didn't look the way that I thought it would, and I had to give up a lot of things, and there was self-sacrifice and all these things, and it came down to the fact that, our kids are the next generation. And we have to teach them that God has a promised land for them. And so this is what I've been kind of studying in Joshua. So last week I talked about the battle of Ai, where the Israelites had just conquered Jericho, and the Lord had said not to take any of the, I think it was like gold, silver, gold, bronze, or iron. It was sacred to the Lord, and it must be brought into the treasury. So all of those things that they found in Jericho, they were supposed to give back to the Lord. And I think it was a picture, and this is kind of what I think is, this was a picture of honoring the Lord, saying the glory is yours. You are the one who gave us this promised land. You fought the battle for us. Like, literally, they just had to, walk around and be quiet. And then on the last day, that was such a different battle. So this is kind of what I think, or what I've learned from this. And last week I kind of mentioned, I'm gonna get into the story really quick, and then I'll brief that. But this next battle was different. And one man had decided that he wanted some of that silver, bronze, and gold for himself. And I truly believe that's a picture of us, where we want the glory for the fact that we fought this battle. We did this and not the Lord, and we don't want to give glory to the Lord. And I talked about last week just a little bit about how sometimes I think with quick fixes, when we're trying to fix something in our life, we don't necessarily give the glory to the Lord. We don't want to let him help us because there's pride in the way, or there's shame in the way, especially when we hold extra weight physically. I think there's a lot of shame there, and I talked about how we shouldn't have to worry about shame. There's conviction, but we shouldn't feel shame. But a lot of times, because when we struggle physically, especially with weight, it's something that can be seen on the outside. Other people can see that we have an issue, right? And so there's shame there, and there shouldn't be shame. But the other thing is that we don't want to commit to the process of making the changes because it's pride that gets in the way. We want to say that we did it ourselves. We don't want to ask for help. And and I am that personality to a T most of the time. I'm learning this process, but pride gets in the way. We don't want to depend on the Lord. And I truly believe that's what was going on with this man Achan. He saw all these, the silver, the gold, and he was like, I want some of that. I mean, I helped fight the battle. I maybe killed a few people, but the thing is that's not what the Lord asked them to do. The glory was the Lord's. And so I want to dive into that just a little bit deeper, because I really think this has a lot to do when it comes to our self-care. And one of the first priorities that we should be placing in our lives. And I've talked about this before, but I wanted to touch on it again today because I think it's super important. When it comes to our self-care, we have to think about our priorities. We have to think about how we're supposed to fulfill our purpose in life that God has given us, and what should the number one priority be. And, so we have to think about our lives. When we give our lives to the Lord, it's not our life anymore. And that's a hard thing. And I struggle with pride, and I struggle with the fact that means I have to give up some of the things that maybe I think are cool. But it's in that process of figuring out your purpose that God sometimes, he just removes those things. Like, I remember, I used to like watch shows, and this is just my example. Whatever the Lord is convicting you of, you need to listen to Him. But this is what the Lord convicted me of, and I just wasn't spending enough time in the Word. And I'm not saying I still do now, but the Lord started to remove things from my life because He was like, "This isn't helping you. This isn't drawing you closer to me." And so I've really learned that there are certain things that can't be in my life because it literally takes me away from Him. And so think about those things in your life. The battles that we're facing in life, be it weight, extra weight, be it our mentalities about life, are we letting Him in? And, a non-negotiable of your life should be the Word. And, sorry. Sometimes I've been so busy trying to build my business and be focused on my kids and be focused on my marriage, I forget about Him. And, whether it's just a short devotional on your phone, or it's time spent here, it needs to be a priority. Because the Word reveals who we are, right? The Word tells us why we have such a special purpose. Why, as a mom, you are worth, you are worth it. It says that we are daughters of the King. Like, we need to be in the Word because the Word is going to tell us what to do. Sometimes it's hard to figure out where we should go and what to do next. And sometimes the Word's going to tell you what to throw away, what to get rid of, and that you should only be balancing maybe 3 things. It will help you so much. It will relieve so much stress. Because if we will just fix our eyes on the words of our God, the relationship that we have with God, He will tell us exactly what we need to be doing. And I found that to be true. So I think it's interesting how in this story, in the story of Ai, they kind of had a big head after they had conquered Jericho. And but they didn't know that Achan had taken some things. And so I love their attitude because the Israelites were like, all right, we got this. Like, the Lord is for us, and it says, like, in verse 2, Joshua sent some of his men from Jericho to spy out the town of Ai, east of Bethel, near Beth-Haven. And when they returned, they told Joshua, there is no need for all of us to go up there. It won't take more than 2,000 or 3,000 men to attack Ai, since there were so few of them. Don't make all our people struggle to go up there. Like, they were like, we've got this. And I truly believe the men who hadn't taken anything, they were like, the Lord is for us, He's not against us. And they're like, we don't need as many men as we did, it's not that bad. So then it said, so approximately 3,000 warriors were sent, but they were soundly defeated. The men of Ai chased the Israelites from the town gate as far as the quarries, and they killed about 36 who were retreating down the slope. The Israelites were paralyzed with fear at this turn of events, and their courage melted away. Again, because of one man who didn't give the glory to the Lord, they lost that battle. And that's what happens to us. If we don't give God the glory with our life, if we don't offer up our life in all aspects, again, this is a journey. This isn't something that happens overnight. But if we don't give the glory to the Lord and say, it's yours, here's my life. And I think this is something that we have to constantly do, probably daily, maybe hourly. We won't fight, we won't be able to win these battles for our mind. A lot of the promised land that I feel like we struggle with as moms, it's in our mind. It's all there. And so if we can conquer some of those battles by renewing our mind in the Lord, by thinking the thoughts that He has for us, it will be a piece of cake, because it won't be us, it'll be Him. And so that's what I want us to think about and our first priority should be to be in the Word, because the Word tells us what we need to be doing. The Word tells us who we are in Christ, and it will relieve a lot of stress because it will take out things that we don't need, that we think we might need, but we don't. We really don't. And so next week I want to talk a little bit more about this, because I just wanted to kind of dive into this a little bit. But, I want to look at physically, what does the Word have to say with where our priorities should be. Obviously, spiritually, we're getting healthy spiritually too here in this group. And so we got to look at that first. Excuse me. If our faith is not where it needs to be, and I'm not saying, again, it's a journey. It's not going to happen consistently every day. But if we move towards consistency, it will help so much. I really believe that. It's helped me so much. And that's why I want to teach that, because it will really help you figure out what needs to be a priority physically when it comes to your health, when it comes to your life, balancing your life. So next week I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But again, if that's you, if you struggle with self-care, struggle with taking time for yourself, I truly believe that part of our self-care is being in the Word. I really believe that. It has to be, as a believer, because again, it renews our mind. It helps us think the way that we should be. It helps us see who we really are in Christ. We identify it with the fact that God has called us to a bigger purpose, and that bigger purpose can be done as a mom, and that there is a huge purpose in being a mom. And it's hard for us to see that sometimes. So I see. Yay! Thanks for all the comments. Taking time for myself often makes me feel selfish instead of better, and I want that not to be the end issue. Yes, Kat, I totally agree. Because we think we think that taking time for ourselves is being selfish, but it's not. It's so not. I think there's a difference, again, like I was talking about, in what self-care looks like, because it can look like selfishness, for sure. But I think more so, it is not selfish. Jesus even went, when he was around crowds, he went off by himself to pray and to, commune with the Lord. Like, he separated himself and he spent time with the Lord. That is something that we need to make a priority in our lives. So, yes. Self-sacrifice sanity, yes. Miston, I see that. Way to call you out. That's awesome. Thanks for being here, you guys. Thank you so much. So, unless there's any other questions, that's all I have for today, but be watching for next week as we talk a little bit more about what our non-negotiables should be for us physically, now that we've kind of talked about what it should look like spiritually. And just, if you put self-care in the comments, or if you had a question, I'll definitely reach out to you and comment on there. And, I really want us to figure this out. I really want us to be going in a direction that's healthy, spiritually and physically, because it will only expand our opportunities for the Lord. So I hope you have a great Wednesday, and I will see you guys later. You guys have a great day.